Good morning, friends. Robert Lee Frost is credibly the greatest American poet of the 20th century. He was much admired for his realistic depictions of the rural life of New England. His command of American colloquial speech and for his accurate verse portraying ordinary people in everyday situations. He was known for examining complex social and philosophical themes through his writings in a simple way too. Robert Frost was born in San Francisco, California, on 26 March 1874. His parents were William Prescott Frost Jr. and Isabelle Moodie Frost. His father was a journalist and mother a Scottish immigrant. Frost is the only poet to receive 4 Pulitzer Prizes for poetry. The first one was for the book New Hampshire, a poem with notes and grace notes. He became one of the rare public literary figures of America, almost an artistic institution. In 1961, he was named Poet Laureate of Vermont. Although known for his later association with rural life, Frost grew up in the city, and he published his first poem in his high school's magazine. He attended Dartmouth College for 2 months, returned home to teach and to work at various jobs, including helping his mother teach her class of unruly boys, delivering newspapers, and working in a factory. But he felt that his true calling was to write poetry. The personal life of Frost was plagued by grief and loss due to sickness in his family. His father died of tuberculosis when he was 11, leaving the family with just $8. His mother died of cancer too. He had to commit his younger sister Jeannie and his daughter Irma to a mental hospital. His mother, wife, and himself suffered from depression as well. In 1894, he sold his first poem, My Butterfly Analogy, for $15. Proud of his accomplishment, he proposed marriage to Eleanor Miriam White. After she graduated, she agreed and they were married in 1895. Frost attended Harvard University for 2 years, but he left voluntarily due to illness. He worked in his farm for 9 years while writing poems early in the mornings. Later, he returned to the field of education as an English teacher and proceeded to settle in Great Britain. Frost accepted a fellowship teaching post at the University of Michigan. While teaching at the University of Michigan, he was awarded a lifetime appointment at the university as a fellow in letters. Later, he returned to teach at Amherst. Frost never graduated from college, but received over 40 honorary degrees, including from Princeton, Oxford, and Cambridge universities. He is the only person to have received 2 honorary degrees from Dartmouth College. During his lifetime, a few schools, colleges, and libraries were named after him as well. In 1960, Frost was awarded United States Congressional Gold Medal. This was in recognition of his poetry, which has enriched the culture of the United States and the philosophy of the world. It was formally bestowed on him by President Kennedy in March 1962. Also in 1962, he was awarded the Edward McDowell Medal for outstanding contribution to the arts by the McDowell Colony. Frost died in Boston on 29 January 1963. He was buried in the old Bennington Cemetery in Bennington, Vermont. His epitaph, from the last line of his poem, "The lesson for today is, I had a lover's quarrel with the world." One of the original collections of Frost materials is held in the Special Collections Department of the Johns Library in Amherst. The collection consists of approximately 12,000 items, including original manuscript poems and letters, correspondence, photographs, and audio and visual recordings. The archives and special collections at Amherst College holds a small collection of his papers. The University of Michigan Library holds the Robert Frost family collection of manuscripts, photographs, printed items, and artwork. The most significant collection of Frost's working manuscripts is held by Dartmouth. Critic Harold Bloom argued that Frost was one of the major American poets. The poet and critic Randall Jarrell hailed the extraordinary knowledge of people Frost had, his absolute mastery, his wide range of experience, along with his seriousness and honesty. In 1922, the Vermont State League of Women's Clubs elected Frost as Poet Laureate of Vermont. Frost was named Poet Laureate of Vermont by the state legislature too. He was elected to the American Academy of Arts and Sciences in 1931 and the American Philosophical Society in 1937 too. The legacy and cultural influence of Robert Frost include Robert Frost Hall at Southern New Hampshire University. Frost was one of the favorite poets of President John F. Kennedy. The poem of Frost, "Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Evening," was read out at the White House in 1963. Jawaharlal Nehru, the first Prime Minister of India, had kept a book of Robert Frost close to him towards his later years, even at his bedside table as he lay dying. The poem of Frost, "Nothing Gold Can Stay," was read out in a film. It inspired poet S.E. Hilton too. His poem, "Fire and Ice," influenced writer George R.R. Martin. The poem, Fire and Ice is the epigraph of Stephanie Meyer's 2007 book, Eclipse of the Twilight Saga 2. At the funeral of former Canadian Prime Minister Pierre Trudeau on October 3, 2000, his eldest son Justin rephrased the last stanza of the poem of Frost, stopping by woods on a snowy evening, in his eulogy. The woods are lovely, dark and deep. He has kept his promises and earned his sleep. A few of the selected works of Robert Frost are The Road Not Taken, Death of a Hired Man, Birches, Mending Wall, Out, Out, After Apple Picking, The Runway, Fire and Ice, Nothing Gold Can Stay, Tree at My Window, The Lesson for Today, Stopping by the woods on a snowy evening, Acquainted with the Night, and Neither Out Too Far nor In Too Deep, along with hundreds of collections, letters and interviews. Let me quote the last part of the famous and inspiring poem of Robert Frost, Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Evening. The woods are lovely, dark and deep, but I have promises to keep, and miles to go before I sleep, and miles to go before I sleep. Obviously, this is a very powerful call to promises and duties in life for one and all. To conclude, I have the joy of quoting another popular and highly motivating poem of Robert Frost, very much for me personally as well. The Road Not Taken. Two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference. Definitely, this is a boost for choosing to travel by the narrow gate. Well, this is the road to greater prospects in life as well. On the occasion of the birthday of Robert Lee Frost 2024, on behalf of Institute of Harmony and Peace Studies, New Delhi, I wish to make an appeal to my fellow citizens in India and of the world society. Let us draw motivation from the great poet Robert Frost. Let us learn to take the roads less traveled by in view of keeping greater promises in life. Hail the great poet Robert Lee Frost. Thank you.